the citizens of the United Earth Government. I am Lurat Moretum, former High Councilor of the Old Covenant Empire, now advisor to the Great Arbiter and emissary of the Swords of Sanghelios. I've come before you with tidings in these uncertain times, tidings in regards to my former station within the High Council of the Fallen Covenant. I doubt many of you humans even know what the High Council was. How could you know? All you ever knew was that of its leaders, the hierarchs, led the Covenant to ruin with their lies, treachery, and falsehoods. You did not know those who passed laws and legislation, just as your Senate does. Well, today I shall rectify that error. Today I shall divulge its secrets of the Covenant High Council. The High Council was formed shortly after the signing of the Writ of Union and the formation of the Covenant after the Founding War, nearly 3,000 years ago. During the Covenant's early years, only the hierarch served on what would be the High Council. As you must know, the hierarchs were a triumvirate composed of 3 Sanchayum that served as the highest authorities among the Covenant and held the most political and religious power. The true duty of the hierarchs was to guide the Covenant toward the Great Journey, the path to divine transcendence. The Council was established shortly thereafter and consisted of a selected number of Sanchayum and Sangheli governmental delegates, as outlined in the writ. After much inner fighting and political intrigues, the High Council was united by our common journey to find the fabled sacred rings and achieve divine godhood, as the Holy Forerunners once did. At the golden age of the Covenant, the High Council was responsible for passing laws, giving judgment unto the grievous of criminals, and keeping the Holy Empire together. When we gave a command, it was as if it was spoken by the gods themselves, to be obeyed absolutely, especially in times of great strife. While the hegemony was ruled by the triumvirate of the hierarchs, the High Council formed a larger body of both Sanchayum and Sangheli that determined legislation and executed the day-to-day affairs of the government, not unlike that of your senates and congresses that your nation's state have had in the course of your history. The council would convene in the High Council chambers within the holy city of High Charity, as it was the seat of our imperial government. We, the council, were protected by the Honor Guards, a station of great care and responsibility, composed of only the most esteemed Sangheli soldiers, specially chosen by the hierarchs to provide protection to the High Prophets and other prominent officials in the Covenant High Council. These hand-picked warriors swore their loyalty only to the High Prophets and gladly gave their lives to protect the hierarch. While it was their solemn duty to escort the High Prophets on field missions, they could primarily be found in the holy city of High Charity. Their elaborate armor indicated that the position of an honor guardsman was a great privilege, but that privilege was tainted when they were replaced by the barbarous Jiralhanai, when the holy prophet of regret was slain by a demon under the care of his elite guards. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The council was consisted of over 200 prophets and elites who managed the governance of the Covenant, and was responsible for selecting the replacements of any hierarch, if deemed necessary. When 3 hierarchs are chosen, they must undergo the Ascension ceremony to receive the blessings of the Holy Oracle housed within the mighty Dreadnought, ushering a new age for the Covenant, under the watchful eyes of the Council and all leaders within our Union. Or so we were fooled in believing. We would discover that, in truth, the Sanchayum blackmailed and schemed to claim the seat of hierarchship. Shameful! The High Council seemed to have been divided into several smaller councils, with different tasks and goals which keep the Covenant up and running within all its aspects. But I knew little of how they functioned. Sanshayum politics always escaped me. I was but a commander, chosen amongst my brothers. But below those councils, there were numerous ministries functioning within the Covenant, led by scheming Sanshayum ministers. The lower caste of the Covenant, the Kikyar and the Ungoi, were not permitted to sit on the council. That honor belonged only to the founding members of the Holy Covenant, the Sanshayum and the Sangheili. The Jackals and Grunts were vetted by the Ministry of Concert to voice their grievances, though they often fall to deaf ears. This has led to foolish uprisings in the past, with the Grunt Rebellion being the more infamous. But once we remind them of the might of the Covenant and its council, the weaker races would fall back in line. Membership of the High Council was only exclusive to those of Sangheili and Sanshayum blood, and our seats were split in two, with both sides having differences in battles of both wits and that of the blades. Most Sanshayum councillors were ministers that represented the ministry's interests on the council. When a Sanshayum minister was unable to attend a session of the High Council, the minister's vice minister may act as a substitute in their place. During the Great War, some councillors who joined military flotillas to carry out the cleansing of an infidel world, no doubt to curry favor with the hierarchs. Whereas my Sangheili brothers and I had risen to our stations for our wisdom honed in battle, we were once commanders who led our troops into combat. But we lay aside our weapons to play politics, to anoint and serve the high prophets, to earn our rightful place in paradise. What fools we were to trust in a race of cowards who would stab us in the back. And so they did. At the discovery of a second sacred ring, when a demon killed the Prophet of Regret, protocol dictated the council to appoint a new hierarch swiftly, but the great betrayer, the Prophet of Truth, subverted our authority and granted the vile Jiralhanai command of the military, an act of great sacrilege. When my fellow councillors refused to accept Truth's madness, he ordered his savages to butcher us all, though a few escaped the slaughter. To my everlasting shame, I was held captive with another councillor. I would have killed myself to preserve my honor, had it not been for the Arbiter freeing me and my peers. On that day, I owed Thelvadam my life, and I, along with several other surviving councillors, pledge ourselves to his swords of Sanghelios. But not all of my peers followed our example. They would align with petty warlords like the cowardly Nishum Julmandama, or have become warlords themselves, seeking to restore the very covenant that betrayed us. Fools! Where the Sanshayum councillors are, I cannot say. Most were probably killed when the Great Schism erupted inside High Charity. What few are left are likely with what remains of their race, in hiding. I hope Artas finds some counselors. We are overdue for a talk. But you humans have indulged in my weakness for speech long enough. Ansha, I hope this lesson gives you a short of clarity on how similar our politics were from yours. Perhaps it'll help open the door to a lasting peace between our two peoples. I pray it will be. But until then, peace be upon you, citizens of the United Earth Government. This is Councilor Lurat, signing off.